welcome to Total Fishing. This show's well total, it's full of exclusives like, how about the first £40 carp caught on professional film from England, eh? Haha, not bad. But when you realise that this carp was caught from Essex, you'll know that it was big, hard, and it drives an XR3i. Watch out for that one. Now, later on in the programme, we've got some more wonderful fishing action. I'll be catching my first conger eel with my old mate Roger Bazan from down on the south coast there in Lymington. At the end of the programme, we'll be jetting off to Florida again. We'll be fishing with a permit for the Mighty Permit, a wonderful sport fish. And don't forget, of course, we've got high-tech tomorrow's tackle today, loads of fishing tips for everybody out there who's really hooked on this wonderful, marvellous sport of ours. But now, let's get on with the show and start off with that carp. Now, an old buddy of mine here on Total Fishing and a total idiot, Max Cottis from Essex, great carp angler, great guy, and take a look at this fantastic fish. 7:30 in the morning, and after a deceptively slow take, Max picked up the rod to bend into what was clearly a very good fish from the outset. It kited slowly left at first, as big fish do, just plodding away, and we realised that Duffers Bay, a swim that had already produced 3 good fish, may well have a final surprise in store for us. Yeah.
I'm not giving it swimming lessons, honest. It's not the thing. Can't get that net in, Matt.
He's having none of it.
What are you playing your game? Yes!
Oh, that's ridiculous, Max. I don't believe it.
Yes! 40 pounds.
Gosh, that pot's weight seems big enough to get a 40-pound carp in, Max, quite comfortably.
40 pounds, 12.
Was it?
Yeah. It's about 40 pounds 10 actually. Not quite as much, but give or take, I mean, go.
It's a 40! Oh, that's a bit heavy, Max, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit.
I'd never seen a 40-pound carp on the bank before, at least not an English fish anyway, and I think everyone will agree that this carp really is a magnificent creature. After enjoying a scintillating blank in what is supposedly the hottest swim on the fishery, I shouldn't have been too surprised really when Max managed to catch the lake's biggest resident from a swim known as Duffers Bay. Ladies, if I were to tell you that I've got one about that long and around about that thick, I think I'd probably go up in your estimation. Sadly, though, I'm referring to a conger eel, but these things are absolutely fantastic. They grow to huge sizes out in the channel. I'm talking here about 6 feet long. But when I went out with my old mate Roger Bazan, who runs a boat out of Lymington in Hampshire, well, I'll tell you what, it was a cracking day out. So we're actually up tide of the wreck now.
Yeah.
So that current is actually washing the scent from the mackerel down, hopefully towards the conger. They can detect it by smell, I suppose.
That's the idea. The scent from our baits, and that's the idea of using a flapper.
Yeah.
You've got all the juice coming out of the guts and the backbone.
Yeah.
Washes back into the wreck, and they'll come up to the baits.
Right.
Even though the wrecks aren't actually on the wreck, they'll come out. And once they start feeding, they generally feed quite well. You get 1 or 2 congers coming out, and the rest follow. And they're mostly inside the wreck somewhere.
Yeah.
They don't very seldom come out in free swim. The divers will see just a tail sticking out, or a head sticking out, or just a part of a body visible.
Yeah.
They lay up until they come out to feed.
Well, I guess there's plenty of food down there for them.
Oh, loads of food, yeah. And lots of pout and things like that around these wrecks.
Well, that's a bite, definitely.
Real bite?
Yeah, definitely.
Real bite?
Yeah, proper one, yeah. Oh, it's going like a train, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a bite.
Yeah. And when you're ready.
Well, I've never done this before, so...
Here goes the learning curve. Looks like you're in.
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there's something there.
Well done. Right.
Let's pull in a bit. That was a proper bite, that one.
Yeah. No mistake in it.
No, no, not at all. Not like the others. I mean, it just
Little pecks.
gave it a good old clonk and then started stripping line. They're a fair way down, these things, aren't they?
Yeah. 200 feet.
200 feet.
200 feet.
Well, if this is a conger or a ling, then it's a first.
Is it?
Yeah.
Your first conger or ling?
Yeah, we'll be if we get it in.
Chance of it being a pollock then?
If it's a pollock, it's a good one, son. That's all I can say to you.
You're not worried. Yeah.
No.
And,
Oh, I think you might have a take there, Roger.
I've got a take.
It's definitely not one for people with serious heart problems, is it?
Hard work.
Remember that programme on the telly called The Superstars, where they used to make them do all sorts of endurance tests?
Yeah.
I think it would, yeah.
How many congers do you want, Jack? A new Beastmaster is just about ideal for this game.
It is, yeah, because you know, with this short rod, you get the leverage on them, and you can really give them, crank them up.
Well, I don't know how I dropped that one. He went.
Yeah, I mean, it was a terrific run. It really
was.
We got rattled off with it, didn't it? As my old mate John Everard would say, "Don't they hang on?" Good old Oxford boy, don't they hang on? Beastmaster's about the right term for this.
Yeah. Master the beast.
Is the Loch Ness Monster a conger eel, we ask ourselves?
Could well be. 250-pound conger.
Yeah.
What's the odds? What do you reckon it is?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
Not a
know.
tarpon.
It's certainly not a tarpon. It looks long and thin to me.
Long and thin. It is.
It is long and thin.
It's a first.
Hey! Ha ha ha! How about that then? I've got one. It may not be the Loch Ness Monster, but I've got one.
Okay. Just get the tail end on that.
You got it?
Hang on a minute.
God's sake, don't lose that one, Bayshand. Yes, sirree! Oh, yes. That's more like it. Oh, blimey, they go ballistic.
Yeah. He ain't done it bad, Bill.
That's a nice
He's
fish.
not the monster we're hoping for.
No, no, but it's a conger.
Yeah.
Beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
How big's that? About 10 pounds, something like that? 8, 10 pounds?
Yeah. I'd say probably a little bit more. Yeah, just over 10. We're going to pop them back
Yeah.
over the side. Pop them back. I'll try and do it with the hook away.
So this is conservation-minded fishing.
Like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Brilliant.
There he goes.
Wonderful. What a roller coaster of a show this is. Not only do we bring you the best fishing action, we also bring you the tips, including float tips as well, folks. Now, you've probably found that when you're float fishing, there are certain situations when an orange tip like this one is the most visible, and other situations, especially when you're fishing against light water, where a black tip is better. So what do? Buy 2 floats? Not on your life. Not when you're as penny pinching as MH, you don't. Because with this magic stuff, which comes in a variety of colours, white, black and orange, you can change the colour of that float tip in seconds. How do you do it? Well, let me show you. Inside this magic bottle is some black paint. And if you paint that float tip black, like I am here, it goes on nice and smoothly, a good thick coating. And I won't finish the job totally, but it'll give you a good idea. This Pro Paint dries within about 30 seconds to a minute. And after that, you've got a permanently black float tip. There is another substance you can buy with this called Pre-Treat, which you paint on first, and it enables you to paint any colour you like on and wipe it off when you've finished. It's absolutely tremendous stuff. And the good news is, it saves you money, folks. They say that only mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. Well, we haven't seen any sun today, and I'll tell you what, there's only mad Englishmen out here, because there's several people fishing this lake with me. You know, we weren't even going to film this introduction today because the weather has been so appallingly bad, but I'll tell you what, a couple of minutes ago, I was experiencing one of those warm, wet moments, or was it a cold, wet moment? Anyway, it was a wet moment, and it was the whole reason that answers my initial question, what makes people go fishing in weather like this? Well, we're going to show you right now. Well, I've just been sitting here enduring a head-on wind, pouring rain, hail, and for some unknown reason, I just turned to our cameraman and said, we must be due for a take in a minute, and it just roared off right out of the blue. No one else is catching on the lake today, which is not really that surprising in the conditions. It's very, very cold for the time of year. Most unpleasant. You can probably see I'm soaking wet. And if you look at my hair, I reckon I'll probably look a little bit like Sonic the Hedgehog at the minute. There you go. Anyway, the sun's come out. See, they say it always shines on the righteous, you know. And it's the righteous that get the run when the chips are dead. There's some lovely fish in this lake. Really pretty carp, and they're in great nick, and they're in fantastic fighting form. They really are. Now, I've got to be a bit careful with this one, because of the reeds in front of me. It's obviously intent on burying itself in there and parting my hook length if it gets half a chance. And I'm always a bit worried if a fish comes in too soon, like this one did, because they fight like hell under the rod tip, which is exactly what you don't want them to do. This one's scrapping it out. It's already removed a couple of reed stems, and it's not a bad fish actually. It's not over until a fat man sings. And I'll tell you what, if I net this one and I had a fat man, I'd get him to sing. Oh, what a grey day. You didn't think I was old enough to remember Larry Grayson, did you? You'll notice that I'm allowing the fish to fight outside the reeds, because there is a danger that if it gets in there, it could lose the hook. I've got to wait until it's rolled over and ready to come before I try and net it and bring it through those reeds. Normally, of course, I wouldn't worry, but then you're watching me, aren't you? Oh, that's where I don't want it to go. There it is. As you can see, it's a fair old fish. And it's Matty's! Let's face it, chums, most fishermen like a drink, don't they? Me, well, I lead a puritanical existence, but some people, well, they just have to take it a bit too far. We're here at Angler's Paradise, and here, behind me, is Zig Gregrek's wine cellar. Let's go and take a look inside. Zig, my old friend, how are you?
Just getting the wines ready for tonight. I believe you're a winner as well.
Yes, indeed. I've won a bottle of wine tonight, folks. Some people think that this man is an eccentric, but I just love him. Let's talk about your wine. Now, how long have you been brewing your own wine?
I was doing it since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, but the grasshoppers in Africa or in my time were very, very big. It's going back many, many years ago. And since then, we have continued. Right now, we've got a good selection. One of my jobs, one of my chores, is every Friday we've got to get the wine ready for the new visitors, we've got to get the wine ready for the winners, and this is what I have to do, is go around tasting the whole lot. I've nearly decided, but what we better do is just...
Now, what you're trying to tell me here, Zig, is that you don't actually drink this stuff. I mean, we can all see that, folks, can't we? You don't drink this stuff, you give it away, is that right?
That is correct. Now, we only use the best fruit. It's fruits of the hedgerows, fruits from the forest, blended carefully. And if you do it, same as a good chef, if you know what you're doing and you mix the things correctly, you have delicious, unbelievable food. And this wine, some of it, the taste is so exquisite. And the taste will always change year in, year out, because we never know what sort of weather we had, how good were the elderberries, how different were the flavors, whether it was on a southern facing slope. Without being funny, there's a lot more to it than just making wine, producing alcohol. It is the way you blend them, the way you drink them.
Well, let me just say, folks, I've seen more people laid out by Zig Gregrek's wine than have been laid out by Mike Tyson.
Elderberry, apple, grapes and sloes. Sloes, delicious. Elderberry. Can I do it again?
Come on, mate.
Hey, let's go fishing, go!
Well, as the curtain begins to fall on yet another fantastic total fishing show, hope you're not all fished out, mates, because you've got to save up your strength. We've got one more bout to go yet. Now, where are we going? We're going to the Florida coast again, fishing for a fantastic fish. This fish is called the permit. It's a member of the crevalle family, and I'll tell you what, you catch a permit from the wreck, and these things fight so hard that you'll wish you'd gone 10 rounds with Mike Tyson instead. I've got it locked up way past strike drag.
Yeah, you made it.
As soon as it hit it, I just bang the button down and whack the lever up as far as it would go.
I think you've done the hard work. Get it away from the